Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. Welcome, and I hope you are grand this morning. It is a crisp day here that the temperatures finally broke a bit, and this is my favorite kind of weather where you wake up and there's that crispness in the air. It's a lot of goodness and beauty in it. I hope that that goodness and beauty are finding you today as well. I hope you're grand and wonderful. Have a little mug up this morning, a little travel mug action. And I pray there's goodness and joy for each one of you. Hey, Irene, good morning to you. How are you? Hope you're doing great. I hope the flowers are holding up. It's things start to get thin this time of year, so hope it's going well. Good morning, everybody. See a couple more folks coming in. We'll give it one more sec, and then we'll get going. This beautiful day. Good morning. Hey, Donna, good morning to you. Drove to PT yesterday. Oh, wow. Driving, that's exciting. Glad to see you're back at it. And it is a long road. That's for sure. But it is a lot. Good, good, good. So as we get going this morning, I want to just ask your indulgence. We had some bad news this morning. My wife Chris's uncle, Uncle Chris, has a medical event and is going to need some real love and some real prayers in the ways ahead. So if you are I would ask that you offer your prayers as well for our friend Fannie Faye Davis, who is struggling with some health issues, and as well as Vicky on here, and there's many others, and also all of the folks involved in the Gabriel House fire. There's much to pray for in these days, so I hope you will keep those in mind. Hey, good morning, John, Sharon, hello, Karen, glad you're here. Good. So there's a lot happening. All right, friends, let's get going. Hey, Jane, good morning to you. All right, friends, let's get going this morning. Hey, Allison, everybody, hey, got the whole gang here this morning. I'm glad that everybody's making their way. Good morning, everybody. It is the 22nd day of July here at 11:11. And there is this little line from Matthew that I think is often misunderstood. And I got just a treasure in the mail here the other day, and I wanted to share it with you. And it made me think of this passage. So this is from the 17th chapter of Matthew. And so they're trying to contend with this boy who is afflicted with demons, and nobody seems to know what to do with him. And so they bring him to Jesus. And so it begins here. And I brought him to your disciples, but they couldn't heal him. And Jesus answered, "Oh, you faithless and twisted generation, how long am I to be with you? How long am I to bear with you? Bring him here to me." And Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of him, and the boy was healed instantly. And then the disciples privately said, "Why couldn't we cast out that demon?" And he said to them, "Because you have little faith. For truly I say to you, if you have faith of a grain of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you." Now we hear that and we say, well, Jesus is Jesus and we're not, and there's some grand metaphysics going on here in terms of the affliction of this boy and the affliction of this world, and somehow that story just kind of doesn't always make a whole lot of sense, I think. We kind of read it as kind of some sort of, kind of hocus pocus or some sort of, deep arcane wisdom in there about what Jesus knows about demons and we don't, or something like that, which which is not an unlegitimate reading of it, but I think it's actually a much more, well, physical than metaphysical. I think that all that other metaphysical stuff might be so, but I think the way we look at it is that it actually has something to do about this incarnate God that we follow, that who came into the world, to be as we are, to be in flesh, and that is about him being hope and love and in faith in the midst of this demon is what, and acting that way and behaving that way, practicing that way, is in fact as much about his physical being and what he's doing in the world as it is in the sense of what that then engenders on a, well, metaphysical level. And so I want to give you an example of what I'm talking about. So recently I got this postcard in the mail. This is a postcard from 1926 picture of the church. It is it's a lovely little postcard with a little note to from Edith Robbins to a friend, and so it's just a lovely little thing, and this will happen occasionally, particularly if in a historic building, people will send you things that they can discover about the historic building, and it's a beautiful little example. But it came from a guy by the name of Lowell Yorgi, and Lowell Yorg it sent a letter with it, and I want to read you the letter, because I think when we start talking about the casting out of demons in the world, that Lowell actually has something to offer us in this. This is dated July 16th, 2025. Good morning. Some time ago, I was in an antique store and found this circa 1926 picture card of your beautiful church. Lots of changes, I suppose. How it wound up here in California, it is a mystery. At any rate, I hope it brightens your day. I said to myself, by golly, I think I'll send it back home where can be appreciated. Heritage is important. Enlarged and posted up, it will start a nice conversation. Well, I gave $6 for it, and if you want this for it 7 or 8, I would be appreciated. Toss in a little for postage if you want to. My dear wife, now passed, used to laugh at me and say, if you hear from those folks, I'll have to take you to lunch. On June 26th, I celebrated my 97th birthday. I don't know where all this time went, but I'm still going strong, as far as I know. I like to call my little hobby a redistribution of happiness. Our world sure needs it. All the best to you and your congregation. Lowell Yorg, Oaks Assisted Living Center, Stockton, California. What Lowell knows, what Lowell is doing, and we had to look him up. There's a little note at the bottom from his daughter that says look him up on the internet. And Lowell's been doing this for 30 years plus. He has been finding these little postcards of historic places and sending them back with a little note, with this whole notion that it might be about the redistribution of happiness. This is what he calls his hobby. He's been honored a few different times. The mayor came out and showcased of one of the town halls that he sent a postcard back to and lifted up Mr. Yorgi, and and again. But he goes out and scours these little, at 97 years old, goes out, scours these little antique stores to find these little things that he might bring a little bit of the redistribution of happiness. And you see, this is what Jesus is talking about when he's speaking to his disciples who are struggling with this demon that they can't quite seem to master. And he says, oh, you don't have any faith. If you had just the faith of a mustard seed, that a mountain, you could say to that mountain, get up and move, and it would move from here to there. that faith, we think about faith and we think about it as we've been conditioned to think about it as this what we as this kind of this either this we have a cognitive understanding that we're going to operate in a particular way, or we have a warm chocolatey feeling that we're everything's going to be okay. We kind of have some kind of kumbaya moment with the universe. That it is nothing about that. It is about how we are choosing to operate in the world, what we are choosing to do, and how we are choosing to live, and how we are choosing to move and have our being in the world. That it is not a metaphysical reality. The metaphysical reality might inform us, but it is a physical way of living. And here's Lowell at 97 years old, bringing a little bit of happiness to my day and hopefully to your day, because if you weren't enchanted by that letter, I mean, check your pulse, everybody. Is that not one of the most lovely things you've ever heard? If his understanding is right, that happiness, joy, love, peace, innocence, all of these heavenly qualities are not ours. They're not even generated by us. They don't even exist in our reality. They are given to us by the one who made us, and that they are ours to redistribute. That the redistribution of happiness is exactly right, and that we get to hold on to them because they flow through us. As the first letter of John says, we love because we were first loved, not because we feel good about it, but because we are the recipients of love. We are the recipients of joy. We're the recipients of happiness, and we pour it out onto the world, like a river. That if you dam up a river, what do you end up with? You end up with a swamp, and psychically and emotionally and intellectually, if we dam up the flow of joy and love and happiness into us, that is the practice of faith. And that when we practice that in the world, we are in Lowell's business. We are in the business of the redistribution of happiness. And then often we find ourselves in this place the disciples find it, like, well, the world's screwed up. There's that demon. Demon's got a hold of that boy. Can't do anything about it. Yep, we're powerless to do anything before all these horrible things in the world. Lowell is 97 years old in a assisted living center, and he's had a little bit of joy, a little bit of happiness, a little smile in the corner of your cheek today to you and to me. If he can move mountains like that, after I've had a really rough morning, actually, kind of contending with our own family worries and our own family tragedy at the beginning I mentioned that my wife's Uncle Chris has had a medical event over this last that we're praying for him and we're concerned for him. And here is this letter from Lowell moving a mountain of my own worry and my own grief and my own struggle right in this moment. Friends, the great happiness, love is from God. And the darkness of the world, the demons of the world are going to get cast out because we let it flow through us in the way that we live, in the way that we practice, in the way that we love one another, in the way that we love this world, not through the profession of the faith of our lips. The profession of the faith of our lips, can be a help. I hope sometimes this helps you, but that's not at its core where it's about. It is about our living it out. The great H.L. Mencken, he was a quote hound, and he would collect quotes from all over the world, and he loved them. And in his book, it's like this massive tome of collections of quotes. He quoted this line from a tombstone in England, that a kind of an unknown a person whose name has been lost to history, but it was on their tombstone. Now, sometimes this is attributed to John Wesley, but I actually think Mencken might be actually more correct in what I've looked at. But wherever it's sourced and wherever it comes from, that this is what was sealed on these last words of this mysterious saint lost to history. And it is these words: "For the Lord Jesus Christ's sake, do all the good that you can, to all the people that you can, and in all the ways that you can, as long as ever you can." Friends, that is what it looks like to have a mustard seed faith. Lowell Yorgie's work of 30 years of sending postcards to people to redistribute happiness is what it looks like to have a mustard seed faith. That our lives are redistribution centers for the love and the grace and the wisdom and the joy and the innocence that God has piled upon us. And the more that we will redistribute in that happiness, the more will be provided to us. And that, friends, is the way ahead. And that, friends, is the wisdom of our 97-year-old friend out in Stockton, California, Lowell Yorgie. And it is my hope that maybe today, just a little bit, maybe in your own powerlessness or your own questioning or your own uncertainty of what's to come, that you'll be a little more like Lowell. Peace and grace to you, my friends, and we'll pick it up tomorrow with another 11:11.